you know? I feel like they've really shown me a lot of love. It almost reminds me of the love that I get back home from Stockton. Like, it's just really a home feeling.
Сайн үзэгчдээ бид Монгол улсын иргэн болох хүсэлтэй байгаа ТЛG 𝒆𝒏𝒚 клубын легионер тоглогч Бид Нэг Junior-тай уулзаарай. Mongolian basketball fans are happy to hear that you want to become Mongolian citizen. Therefore, we want to invite you to interview to know more about yourself and clarify your situation.
Okay.
So, first of all, let's talk about that. What made you to choose Mongolia and come and play?
Well, you know, I figured that it would be a really good opportunity. I've always wanted to play in like the Asian market because I've been to Europe. You know, it wasn't the best experience, but it still was an experience in itself. So I went to Europe, I had my time there, and I would say my time in Asia, like my time here, has been significantly better, like probably 10 times better, you know?
Did you know about anything about Mongolia before you came here?
Not really. Prior to me signing, I didn't know anything, but as soon as I signed, I did a lot of my research on it, and it was a lot more well-developed than I thought. You know, there's a lot of big buildings, you know, a lot of glass buildings, and my apartment is really nice. So it's a lot more well-developed than I had imagined, you know, because you don't really do too much research on it.
There's the countryside, some horses.
Yeah.
Like
well, I had figured that. That's what I had imagined in my head before I had looked it up, you know, before I had looked up UB. But yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking I was going to be going to like the countryside, and then there was going to be horses, and then like just a bunch of, you know, that's how you know Americans don't really do too much research on things on things outside of the United States. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Гишүүн байгууллагад 65% хүртэлх хөнгөлөг. Спортоор өөрийгөө зэмгэл.
Now you have spent more than a month in Mongolia, so now you know about Mongolian basketball players' skills. So what do you think of the style of Mongolian basketball?
I think the style is pretty good. You know, it's fast-paced. I know that there's a lot of shooters out here. There's a lot of people with skill. You know, not too many athletic people. But there are the ones that are athletic, they're really sneaky with their athleticism. You know, they'll come, block your shot. It's kind of crazy, you know. And I think that my style of play has changed a little bit as well because it's really fast paced, really up and down. You know, I had to work on a lot of conditioning because I'm used to just being kind of slow. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's a lot faster out here. And then especially I came from, prior to coming here, I was in the Dominican Republic, and it was really fast paced out there too, but it was hot. So that's what really got my conditioning. Okay, you know? But yeah, the style of play, I would say it's a little different. It's not so much ISO ball. Like, you know, they say US basketball is ISO ball, just a bunch of dribble moves. That's what they call it out here. So it's a lot different. It's a lot of team play, and it's a lot more skill into it.
Mm-hmm. What are the strengths and weaknesses of the Mongolian basketball players? What do you think?
I would say the strengths are their IQ is really high. You know, I would say that they're really well developed. I would say they play hard, obviously, you know, you have to in order to get on the court. Weaknesses, I mean, there's not a lot of tall Mongolians, I would say, you know, because my team we're pretty short, you know. I have a lot of short guys on my team, so that's what I would say. I would just say there's probably just not that much height as far as like the Mongolian players. But everything else, I mean, it's pretty much the same. And height plays a very big role in basketball, you know. It really does.
What do you think about another foreign players of the other teams and your teammates?
Well, I don't have another import on my team. It's really just me. The guy that was here before me, that's one of my friends. So, you know, it'll probably be a little biased on my opinion. But as far as all the other imports, I think that I didn't know a lot of the other imports prior to here. Obviously, you know, we know Diamond Stone and things like that because he was like a top-rated player when I was growing up. And things of that nature. But yeah, I think that they're, I don't really hang out with them outside of the court. So I don't really know them as people, but I know as far as like their skills and stuff, obviously we have players like Gilbert, he's a really good shooter, like Gilbert Ahmad, he's a really good shooter, really skilled. And, you know, they have guys like Tolbert, guys like, what's his name? I forgot. Oh yeah, we have guys like Kyrie, obviously, you know, that's a guy that is really skilled. I watched his game last night. And yeah, I mean, there's becoming more high-level players here. Obviously, you know, DeMarcus Cousins is coming. I know everybody's excited for that. And yeah, I mean, it's just putting Mongolian basketball on the map, I would say.
Who are you close with in Mongolia? You said you don't close with the other foreign players outside of the court. So how do you handle with the communication with the people?
Honestly, who would I say I was close with? I'm close with my teammates. Like, we just had a nice time last night, you know? I feel like that's really who I just spend my time with. I obviously don't really have too much time outside of basketball. You know, I have a lot of resting, I have a lot of recovery, stuff like that. You know, playing 40 minutes is pretty tiring, and I have practices. So, I mean, I don't really have much time to do a lot of partying, things like that. It's just a lot of just me and my team. Yeah, it's just me and my team, you know? We just hang out all the time.
So let's talk about the citizenship situation, because people know about that more. So how did the conversation about the getting citizenship starts?
Well, I told my coach that I wanted to play for the Mongolian national team, and he was like, obviously, you know, you have to be a citizenship. I mean, you have to be a citizen here. So that is how it like started brewing. I think we had that conversation. We had that conversation when I was going to the countryside, so sometime in December. And then obviously I have to get a bunch of my, how do you call it? A bunch of my documents and things like that. And obviously they said that I don't have to necessarily get a release from the United States, but I'm not sure, because they said that you can't have dual citizenship out here, if that makes sense. So yeah, but that process, I haven't heard much back from the Mongolian side. Like, I haven't heard much back from here, but obviously in the US, it's not that tedious of a process. It's not that hard to be able to just up and go somewhere else. But to become a citizen out here, it's a lot more difficult. So that process is just, it's gonna be a little longer than expected, you know, but definitely a possibility. I still feel like I have a high chance of becoming a Mongolian citizen.
What stage are you at getting citizenship?
Like what
how difficulties have you faced so far?
Oh, yeah.
About the process.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this is still the very beginning stages of it all. You know, I would say it's still like, if it's like 1 out of 10, I would say we're still in around the 1-2 stage of it, because I'm still getting my documents sent out here and I still haven't got the release from the United States. So I would say it's still very, very early in the process.
I guess if you get a Mongolian citizenship, you will have renounced American citizenship, right?
Yeah.
Is it okay for you and your family?
The thing is, I talked to my mom about it, because I told her that I wanted to become a Mongolian citizen, and she was praying for it. So I'm thinking that she's pretty fine with it. You know, I mean, I know my family wants to see me do well. We don't really have a problem with it. I know if they had a chance to come out here, they would definitely do it. So my family, I feel like they'll be okay. I have a daughter, obviously, so she would have to be following me around here. I would have to figure that situation out, because obviously that's another thing in itself, you know, so.
In the future.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's another thing in itself. So I'll just have to figure that out. And yeah, but it seems like a very long process. You know, my family, they don't really mind. They just want the best for me. And I think that this is the best, and they're just gonna cheer me on.
Can you tell us about your family more? How many members does your family have?
I have one sister and I have 2 brothers. I came from a household of both of my parents, because I had my mom and my dad growing up, you know. We're not really a big family, you know, because we're spread all throughout the United States. You know, it's just me and my family in Stockton. That's where I'm from, Stockton, California.
Yeah, I heard that.
And yeah, I wouldn't say that we're a close family as like a unit, but I know my household is really close, if that makes sense. Like we don't, like my cousins and my uncles and aunts, they're just all spread out the United States. So we're not really that close, if that makes sense.
How was the condition of the Stockton, and how was your childhood? Was like?
Well, growing up, Stockton, I mean, it was pretty rough. I feel like it's a lot better now. You know, I don't really have a lot of fears walking around my city, but yeah, growing up, it was pretty tough. I mean, you know, I wasn't always coming from the richest family, so, you know, we struggled, and I mean, it wasn't as bad as I remember, but I would say that obviously, you know, it was a town that had a lot of murders. Yeah, so that's what my family was scared of. I had to stay inside all the time. My mom kept me from being outside simply because there was just a lot of murders going on in our city. It calmed down a lot, but obviously it still goes on, you know, so that was pretty much my childhood. Yeah, it was very dangerous growing up, not gonna lie.
What's the most favorite thing of Mongolia for you?
My favorite thing is horse shore. I love it. I eat it every day. And
Everything?
yeah, I eat it every day. Every day. It's really good. It's really good. She's okay, well, I think it's good. I mean, you don't like it?
I like it, but I don't eat every day. But this sounds.
It's, well, exaggerated, but it's still one of my favorites. If I see it, like if they have it on the menu, I'm gonna get it, for sure.
Okay, and there are some bad things in Mongolia too, like air pollution. Also, I heard that today your apartment water was cut off.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That was horrible.
What do you think about that?
Honestly, okay, so I've been in situations where my power would just go out, you know. I'm talking about, because it was after one of our games. I think it was after we had played the Brothers. I walked back to my apartment, and I live on the 15th floor. So
you
I had to
walked to the
walk
15th
up 15 flights of stairs. Yeah, after my game. So it's just small things like that. That's a very
It's like a
big
punishment.
inconvenience. Yes, it's a very big inconvenience. Like I woke up today, was trying to brush my teeth. You know, I turned on the thing, it starts making these weird noises. So I had to brush my teeth, obviously, with no water. So it's just not a great situation. Obviously, I couldn't wake up and take a shower. It's just really, yeah, that's the negatives. The negatives. So, I mean,
What about the weather? And especially during the winter, we have huge air pollution. You see that?
yeah, I feel like at first I thought it was just like the cold air, you know, like but then you realize it's really like damaging to my lungs. Like that's why I usually typically have this little face mask on. But yeah, I didn't know that it was as bad, but I'm pretty sure it's because all the cars around here. You know, there's thousands and thousands of cars, a bunch of traffic. So I'm pretty sure that's why, you know, and then I don't see a lot of trees, if you notice. There's not a lot of trees in the city. It's very rare to see a tree. So I would assume so. I would assume that the weather is the air pollution is pretty bad. The coldness isn't that bad though. Like I feel like I've gotten used to the weather, if that makes sense. Cause now before I came here, I used to think like 10 degrees is cold outside. Like 10 degrees feels pretty good now. Like -20 is where it gets bad, you know, for me, but.
Or you're wearing UGG.
Yeah, exactly. Where I'm wearing Uggs right now, I'm just relaxing. I don't really need like the big boots, even though I would like some. But now I kind of get hot when it's like 10 degrees, 20 degrees outside, because I have a lot of layers on, if that makes sense. Like I layer up. So yeah.
Let's talk about back to the basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever watched Mongolian national team gameplay?
I have recently. Before trying to play for the team, no, not at all. But I would say that I was really familiar with my coach's success with the 3v3, you know, because he is really prideful on it. So I had to go do my research on it. And yeah, he is what he says he is. He's a great coach. And prior to that, I didn't watch the 5v5. Like I never watched Mongolian basketball as far as that, but I watched my coaching success for sure.
You will get the citizenship of Mongolia, you will maybe play to the Mongolian national team.
Yeah.
So how do you think you can fit in and help the team?
Honestly, from what I hear, a lot of the fans have been telling me that they really want me to be on the team because of a lot of things that I can provide for the team, like defense, rebounding. Obviously, I'm a person that plays really hard. So I feel like I would bring a lot of energy to the team, Like, I'm pretty sure the national team is going to have a lot of skilled guards, a lot of shooters, and I feel like I would fit perfectly in that type of system, that type of scheme. I think so.
Have you seen Mongolian Mike's game before? There has one player who played in NCAA.
Yeah. I haven't watched his games, but I literally, it's because I don't know what time they would be playing for me out here because the time difference. But a lot of people I know are really, really big fans of Mongolian Mike. And I just recently had a brief, small conversation with his dad, I think because he had commented on one of my posts. Yeah.
His father.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that you almost make it to the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
You played in ACA, G League, and the Summer League. Mm-hmm. And how hard is it to make to the NBA?
Honestly, it is really hard. I would say that it's not always just about how you play and your skill. I think it has to do with a little bit of luck as well, because obviously luck does play a big part. You have to be in the right spot at the right time, and you have to be able to provide a team with what it needs at that specific time that you came outside the draft. So yeah, I would say that it's very difficult to make it to the NBA, and it's definitely even more hard to stay in the NBA, That's what I would say.
Our conversation will get finished soon, so we saw your Facebook and Instagram stories about you posted I'm half Mongolian and half black.
Yeah.
And do you close with the fans, and what do you think about Mongolian fans? How their reaction? Did they send you their message?
Yeah, I feel like I've been getting a lot of love from Mongolia, and that's another reason as to why I've just been so comfortable out here and comfortable saying the things that I say, because I feel like I've just gotten nothing but positive feedback, I feel like they've really shown me a lot of love. It almost reminds me of the love that I get back home from Stockton. Like, it's just really a home feeling. And obviously, I told you, I've been to Europe. It's not really the same. It's not the same. Their fan bases, it's okay, but it probably was the team that I was on, the situation. But I would just say it's really different. The vibe that I get out here, it's nothing but love. And I just try to reciprocate that as much as I can.
Okay, thank you for accepting our invitation. And also, we hope you can get the Mongolian citizenship.
Thank you.
We will wish you the success in your next games and goals in Mongolia.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys for having me.